activated so far. Yes, it is. So this is the start of lap 4 of the Austrian Grand Prix. Bottas goes for a move up the inside into the first corner. Oh, there's a spin from Bottas. Massive Turbo 51 over here. I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. And after that banging intro, you know it's gonna be a good episode. So drop a like down below while you are listening to me. It's only gonna take you 2 seconds, and let's get straight into it. Guys, we are heading towards the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix, a favorite track to a lot of people. This track is very loved within the F1 community, so you know it's gonna be a good weekend. Now guys, for this episode, coming off the last episode, if you haven't watched that yet, please go check it out. It was a fantastic episode with a lot of unbelievable things that happened. Like really, you couldn't suspect what was going to happen in that race. So if you haven't checked that out yet, click off now, go check it out and come back to this, because here come the spoilers. Congratulations to Esteban Ocon for winning his first ever Formula 1 Grand Prix for Renault at the previous event in France. Renault they went hell for leather, and even Ocon being the winner, Ricciardo did well as well. And guys, heading into this episode, you guys know my rule. If I win a championship, whether it's the Constructors or the Drivers' Championship, I say that I jump ship to another team. And after Renault's exceptional performance the previous round, I'm very much considering Renault. But we will have this conversation again at the end of the season, because there's still a lot that needs to happen. Now, heading towards the performance shot, guys, we are now finally the leading team in the performance index, with Ferrari in the lead, Mercedes are P2, Racing Point P3, Red Bull P4, Renault are in P5, with AlphaTauri in P6. Now guys, those top 6 teams, if any of these cars get into the lead, they are capable of winning a Grand Prix. And from McLaren all the way down to Williams, I don't suspect that much, but AlphaTauri all the way to us at the top with Ferrari, you can literally, any of these cars can win a Grand Prix. That is how close the field spread is. Then you've got McLaren P7, Alfa Romeo Racing P8, Haas F1 and P9, very close behind Alfa Romeo, and Williams are still bringing up the rear end of the field. Now guys, heading in towards this episode, I say that way too much, but not the point. We are basically, we are sitting pretty. We are sitting pretty as the season is looking at this stage. You guys, if you've been watching this season, following this season so far, you guys will know that I have been on a roll with Ferrari, and we just seem like an immovable object at this stage. As you guys watch my one mistake at the end of practice 1, it's a hefty one. Jeez. But we are sitting pretty. And Mercedes, in the previous episode, I said that they were becoming desperate, which I still feel they are. So we'll see what Mercedes does this weekend. But without further ado, let's head straight to qualifying. Jumping straight towards the end of our second run in quali, guys. Excuse me for not showing you guys the first lap. It was a fairly decent lap, but the footage, the recording was just very wonky, and I couldn't salvage much, so there was no point in showing it really. But our first lap was a 1 minute 3.693. We come here towards the end of our second lap, and as you guys can see, it's really going well. We come through this final section, beautiful run through there, mount the curb on the outside, open up DRS, and we go a 1 minute 2.2, which we are currently sitting pretty in P2. So we are on the front row of the grid, and stuff is looking really, really nice. You guys can see Ferrari, we are just very comfortable at this stage of the season. The fastest lap is a 1:2.2. Thank you, Jeff. We do know that. But we are just in a position where we can go into every weekend a lot calmer than the other teams trying to chase us down. So we are working out of a very relaxed position.
personnel be aware, you are leaving.
Thank you, Jeff. And guys, just this entire season, like I've said, we haven't been off the podium yet for this entire season. I'm talking about myself, not Ferrari, but, well, we are driving for Ferrari, but I'm talking about myself. We haven't yet not been on the podium. And that, to me, is an exceptional statistic. I didn't think that the season was going to go this well. I thought Mercedes were going to come out of throwing punches left, right, and center after they just nipped us to the championship in season 1. Even though season 1 was a COVID-themed season with only 10 rounds, but still, Mercedes just beat us to the punch. And this season, they've just not shown up to the party. They've just stayed away. So Mercedes really, they are, they've got a lot of work to do. And with Racing Point, Renault, Red Bull, and AlphaTauri catching up, they've got a big task ahead of them. But we're still trying to rival us. But guys, it's a quick and fast and furious lap here around the Red Bull ring through the final corner. We are just going to go up on our time, but we are now in P.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Bottas, Vettel and Parker. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Bottas has showed up, Hamilton clearly has not, but along with Bottas, the two pink Mercedes in the form of the Racing Points have showed up as well. It's gonna be a good one.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. The grandstands were a sea of red in 2019 thanks to the commemorative hats in honour of the late great Niki Lauda, who took home victory of course back in 1984. And it's a sellout crowd once again here today. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Parker, Stroll, Sergio Perez and Ocon, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Verstappen and Daniel Kvyat, Sainz, Gasly, Alexander Albon and Norris, Leclerc, Giovinazzi, George Russell and Kevin Magnussen, Raikkonen and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Jeff, that is the idea. We're not just going to go for top 10. We're going to go for a podium once again. We are in a very good seat here, guys, to have a good fight with Bottas, our teammate Vettel, and the 2 Racing Points. We're going to use the 2 softest compounds for today's race, and we're going to see what we can get going for ourselves. You guys know the drill. Subscribe if you are new. Don't forget to ding the bell, and let's shake some booty on the warm-up lap. Oh, yeah. the Austrian Grand Prix as we head to 5 red lights. And it's go for the Austrian Grand Prix. My teammate Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas on the front row. Bottas defends around the inside. Vettel leaves the door on the outside wide open for myself. Around the outside of our teammate Sebastian Vettel as we head now after the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. Mercedes v Ferrari it's going to be today. 77 v 51 if things stay like this. You've got the 2 racing points right behind, defending, well, attacking my teammate, but we go for a massive dive up the inside of Bottas in the Mercedes. Beautiful move there up the inside as we now take the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix and we snatch it from under the nose of Mercedes, but there's still a long way to go. We lead the way from Bottas P2, Vettel P3, Sergio Perez P4, Lance Stroll P5, and then in P6 I think it is the Renault of Daniel Ricciardo. Hamilton is still in P7 for Mercedes with I think Ocon in P8, and then they are followed by the 2 McLarens who are actually not doing too bad this weekend considering what their pace was for the earlier part of the season. Here comes Bottas trying to get back at me as we head into the final 2 corners of this lap, but there's nothing he can do just yet. It is a South African, a Finnish, what do you call Finnish people? No, he's not Swedish, he's Finnish. So it's South African v Finnish v German for the top 3. Sorry guys, I had a little bit of a brain fart there. Not the point. Here we go. Bottas still right behind me. I think this is the end of lap 3, guys. Is DRS activated so far? Yes, it is. So this is the start of lap 4 of the Austrian Grand Prix. Bottas goes for a move up the inside into the first corner. Oh, there's a spin from Bottas. Massive spin there from Bottas. What happened there? I actually couldn't see there. But I know that I left Bottas more than enough space. We'll check a replay in just a second, guys. But Bottas is around and he falls all the way to P20, last place on the grid. And this drive has now become a recovery drive for the Finn. Guys, let's get up the inside. Bottas just turns in way too early. He mounts the curb and then hits me on my side pod. I honestly don't think that's my fault. I gave him more than enough space. Let's look at our POV. Bottas goes up the inside. I know he's there. Leave him the room. There's more than enough space. And he just hits me. What am I supposed to do? I mean, I know rubbing's racing, but I honestly feel that I am innocent in this. Look at the space he's got. I mean, heading into the corner, the cars are sparking away in slow-mo. Looks so good. It's not even funny. It looks absolutely fantastic. But here we go into the corner, and Bottas just... Look how early he turns in, guys. He turns in like in the slow-mo, like actually like almost a full second before me, and then he just bounces his car over the curb. He's got nowhere to go except into my side pod, and it just spins the front around. That is actually a proper Sebastian Vettel type spin. That is a spinala. But you got to see Vettel has to hammer on the anchors and stop the car before he runs into the back of Bottas. So Bottas is now out of podium contention. I'm almost sure about it. And now Mercedes are relying on the 7-time world champion Lewis freaking Hamilton to see if he can snatch a podium away here today. He goes up the inside of Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault, the 2 Renault cars which looked so strong in the previous round back in France, where actually Esteban Ocon, guys, you hear how crazy this is? Esteban Ocon is a French driver driving for a French team, and he won the French Grand Prix. There's a lot of French in that sentence, so just think about that for a minute. But there's a beautiful sequence there between Hamilton and Ricciardo. Here comes Bottas finally making a move on the first car, well, from the back of the grid. It's the Williams of Nicholas Latifi around the outside. Beautiful move there from the Finn, but he's still got a long afternoon ahead of him. We now jump on board, actually, with Esteban Ocon, the winner of the previous round. Oh no, we're actually on board with Ricciardo. Ocon is the one being overtaken, so Ocon is not having the race that he had the previous round in France, and he lets his Australian teammate Daniel Ricciardo through. But will Ocon come back at him because he's going to have DRS now? Ocon tries it. He's trying to go make a move around the outside, and I think Ricciardo actually has the pace to go with Hamilton, guys. That's why he's trying to go past. These Renaults have been insanely quick the past few rounds, especially when it comes to straight line speed. So we keep an eye on those Renaults come the end of the season. We now jump on board back with the 2 Ferraris. It's myself and Sebastian Vettel, guys, having a very nice battle here as we start lap 9. Vettel goes, a little bit of a bargee there from Vettel. Yes, he gives me a little bit of a shove on the right front wheel. We just try and take him back on the hairpin, leave him more than enough space. We actually hug the inside and we defend our P1 from Vettel. But guys, the Ferrari was just not gelling with the soft tires. I really felt an inconsistent amount of grip. One lap I would have good grip, the next lap I wouldn't. So I knew that even though I had to stick it out a bit if I wanted to finish this race on the medium compound, but I knew I just had to bite the bullet. And at this stage of the race, I was between Vettel and the 2 Racing Points. I was the slowest of the 4. So they were catching me second to none after that whole little instance with Bottas. So look, I know due to practice my car runs good on the mediums, but it just doesn't run well on the softs. And I could feel it here heading into lap 10, lap 11. And I need to go to around about lap 14, 15 on the softs before I can strap on a set of mediums and run to the end of the Grand Prix. We now jump back on board, side of the track view of Valtteri Bottas. He's overtaking the second Williams of George Russell, through on the Williams, the baby Mercedes, and that is now Valtteri Bottas, believe it or not, up into P18. How does it feel to fight for the wooden spoon? Actually, all those things that I just showed you guys were still on lap 9, because look, here comes Vettel! Up the inside, heading in towards the penultimate corner. It's a Ferrari side-by-side battle. Vettel has arrived in this career mode officially through the final corner. We're hanging around the outside. We open up DRS. We've got overtake. Vettel does not have DRS and is now under pressure from the 2 pink Mercedes, the 2 pink Panthers, Stroll and Perez. Perez has already passed Vettel, but now Vettel has got the problem of Lance Stroll. Did you ever think you would see red and pink fighting for a Grand Prix victory? I honestly never thought that I would, but it is myself still leading the way, defending beautifully from Perez in P2, Vettel P3 and Stroll P4. We 4 are literally running away with this race from the rest of the grid. Hamilton is actually the car in P5 trying to chase us down, but guys, he had no answer for us. We dive it into the pit lane. I think this is actually like lap 11, lap 12, because after that little instance where me and Vettel fought a bit, we managed to keep the tires under control. So we enter the pit lane. I'm strapping on a set of mediums. I do not like the hards around this track. 2.6 second pit stop. Will we come out ahead of Perez? Yes, we do. We are the current P1 and P2 guys. So this is now, oh god, actually it's lap 15.
To speed now. Let's get some heat into those tires.
That is the idea, Jeff. So guys, we actually made it all the way to lap 14 and now it's lap 15. We come out just ahead of the man whose car we are actually driving, Charles Leclerc. He is now driving for Haas, for those of you who don't know, after Romain Grosjean retired at the end of season 1. We now jump on board with our teammate and Lance Stroll, actually on board with Lance Stroll, as he is behind our teammate Sebastian Vettel. Once again, Ferrari mechanics v Racing Point mechanics. Who's gonna get the jump in the pit lane? Stroll is in. We're waiting to see that red, beautiful Ferrari come past. There's the Red Bull, but actually Vettel gets held up quite a bit in the pit lane. But is he out ahead of Stroll? We're gonna go back to that in just a second. We are now actually starting to break away from Perez, who actually came out behind Leclerc. He got held up a bit here by Leclerc, guys. Vettel comes out ahead of Stroll and just ahead of Valtteri Bottas. That is Bottas, who is still yet to make a pit stop, guys. So yeah, Bottas really, this race is completely over for the Finn. There goes Perez around the outside of Charles Leclerc, and now Charles is going to have to worry about his former teammate Sebastian Vettel. We now jump on board with ourselves, guys. This is the start of lap 18, and now we are leading the way for Ferrari and starting to break away from Perez. We've got about a 3-second gap to Sergio Perez in P2, Sebastian Vettel P3, Lance Stroll in P4. It's Ferrari, Racing Point, Ferrari, Racing Point. Then you've got Hamilton, who made a beautiful pit stop decision and actually has caught up to the rest of us in P5. Daniel Ricciardo hanging on for dear life in P6. You've got Pierre Gasly in P7, driving a beautiful race for AlphaTauri. Esteban Ocon is in P8, with Max Verstappen in P9 for Red Bull. Red Bull are really having an atrocious season. Oh wait, that's Gasly in P10. So it's then Kvyat who's in P7. Wow, okay, the two AlphaTauris are looking strong this weekend. Here goes Bottas for a move around the outside of, actually, that's Magnussen. Yes, that's Magnussen. I nearly said Grosjean, and I literally said 2 minutes ago Grosjean has retired. He goes around the outside of Magnussen, now goes for the move on Antonio Giovinazzi. Beautiful move. But guys, Bottas is just coming up through the field way too slowly. I don't even think he's going to get points at this rate. We now jump on board with Daniel Ricciardo, who is actually chasing after which was the quickest car for almost the entire season so far. We only overtook Mercedes now. Ricardo is going against Lewis Hamilton. This is a fantastic battle. Oh, I miss seeing Ricardo in the Red Bull and Hamilton in the Mercedes battling away on track. But now you guys get to see it here. Renault v Mercedes. Ricardo up the inside as we head into the middle sector. But what can Ricardo do? He gets the drive coming out of the hairpin. And that is Ricardo now up into P5 of the Austrian Grand Prix. You've now got my teammate Vettel sandwiched between the two racing points. Of Stroll and Perez, and Vettel is on the hards. Why? Vettel has opted for the hard tires, and he's actually, guys, the hards are terrible around here. Even this being a straight line speed type of track, the hards are nearly a second a lap slower than the mediums, and Vettel has just overtaken Sergio Perez for P2. Stubbs, guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, Ferrari are sitting pretty in this whole season. We are honestly just... It's going so well for us. We are now once again P1 and P2, like back in the days of Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello, when Ferrari were dominant in the early 2000s, well, in the late 90s, no. From 2000 till 2004, 5 years, and I feel like we're heading back into a stage like that. But the only thing is, I'm not going to stay at Ferrari for that amount of time. We now... Oh, excuse me, I had a little bit of a wind coming up there. But you now have Bottas battling away with Magnussen, Giovinazzi, and Carlos Sainz. It's a 4-car battle. Beautiful racing here. Bottas obviously is the quicker car. He gets ahead of Giovinazzi and Magnussen. And now Carlos Sainz is trying to get past these two very, very intriguing backmarker cars, the Haas and the Alfa Romeo. Basically my two sister teams, because they use Ferrari power units. But we'll just see if one day they what's the word I'm looking for? They awaken and come to a little bit more further on into the grid. But that, I think, is only a few seasons away. We now jump on board with Valtteri Bottas once again as he goes for a move on Lando Norris. Last lap Lando cannot do anything about Bottas. Not that it is the final lap. I don't know. I just wanted to say last lap Lando. I love calling him that. Now you guys see, this is actually Lance Stroll putting his teammate Sergio Perez under pressure. What a race here from these two racing points, guys. Their pace was good, but I was managing the gap to them and Vettel. Well, I kept it at 3.5, maybe 4 seconds. I kept it between 3 and 4 seconds. When I saw they were starting to catch me, I would save up ERS and a bit of fuel and just push away for about 2-3 laps, get it back up to 4 seconds, and then calm it down again to not put extra stress on the car. So I was really driving like a race leader. I just kept my gap, and I'm not gonna lie, it felt bloody satisfying. I can realize now how leading a race doesn't mean it's easy. You really have to think what you're doing. And one thing that I knew is because Vettel was on the hard tires, he would have better pace those last, say, 5-6 laps. So I knew that I just needed a gap to maintain to Vettel so that when he started catching me, there wasn't enough time left for him to do something. Now guys, here we go once again. Perez re-overtakes his teammate Stroll, but guys, the reason being, Stroll has got some sort of mechanical issue, and now he's under pressure from Ricardo and Hamilton as Perez is starting to bolt away, because I think he knew this Renault and this Mercedes were coming up behind him really quickly, being stuck behind Stroll. So there goes Perez. Ricardo is past Stroll, and now Hamilton is going to try and make a move on Stroll, who has done the same as Vettel. He has got onto the hard compound tires, which I don't understand, because the mediums make the end very easily. It's just those last 5 laps you are not going to be able to set a fastest lap. It's just not possible. But the tires aren't sliding around and going all crazy. It's just they aren't as quick as the hards for the final 5 laps, but until then the mediums will be faster. And as guys, the bad news just keeps on rolling. Just like Stroll, Ricardo in the final few laps of the Grand Prix has got some sort of mechanical issue, and him and Stroll are going to battle for P5 and P6 in this race. So Hamilton is now up in P4, the only man flying the flag for Mercedes in this Grand Prix. So it's myself leading the way as we start the final lap of the Austrian Grand Prix. It's myself leading the way in very controlling fashion over my teammate Sebastian Vettel in P2. It's going to be a 1-2 for Ferrari. Sergio Perez is in P3 with Lewis Hamilton in P4. Then you've got Ricardo and Stroll battling both with wounded cars for the final top 5 position, P5 and P6. Will it be Stroll? Will it be Ricardo? We'll see at the end of the race, but at this stage Stroll is giving Ricardo a very hard time. Then you've got the second Renault of Ocon in P7, the Red Bull of Max Verstappen in P8, the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly in P9, and P10, I think it's a battle between Kvyat and Albon. So the two Red Bull teams are really fighting for only the bottom points in this Grand Prix. But guys, what else is there to say except Ferrari's dominance is just continuing. We led the race at halfway through lap 1 and we never really lost it. We had a few squabbles where our front ring was just behind the person who was challenging us, and that was Vettel or Bottas. But what a race. It is another podium and another win for Ferrari.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
Grazie ragazzi, forza Ferrari!
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today, you think?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Parker increases their championship lead. Now let's discuss, Ant, who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? Who secured the top combination? Things are looking up after last week, aren't they? I've heard rumours that you're interested in moving to this team. Is there any truth to that? Great. Well, that's everything.
Thank you, Claire. That was a very fun interview. You guys don't usually see my Ferrari career mode interviews because obviously the interviews mean a lot more in my team, but I thought I'll show you guys this one. Guys, is there any way to stop us at Ferrari? And I'm not just talking about myself. You guys have seen today, Vettel has arrived. Vettel is ready to fight. And that to me gives me so much hope for the Constructors' Championship. We have to renegotiate our contract with Ferrari for the end of the season, start of next episode. So guys, please make sure to, if you're not yet subscribed, turn on notifications by dinging that bell to not miss our renegotiation with Ferrari, because we are still going to stay for the last half of the season. I want to win with my favorite team in Formula One. That would be a dream come true. But guys, look at the Drivers' Championship. We are 100 points ahead of Bottas. And Vettel is starting to catch up with Lewis and Valtteri. But guys, like I said at the beginning of the episode, all I need to do is just consistently finish within the points. Not even top fives. If I just finish in the points for the rest of the season, we can still take this championship. We are nearly halfway through the season. And I feel like this season has the same character as when Michael Schumacher dominated with Ferrari. I'm not Michael Schumacher. I'm not trying to say that before somebody hates on me in the comments. I'm not Michael Schumacher, but we in Ferrari have been untouchable this season so far. I've got 6 wins now, 5 fastest laps, and I've not yet been off the podium. And out of all my podiums, I've only got 1 third place, and that was back in Australia for the first round. Ever since then, it's been 1-2s all the way. How do you explain this dominance? And guys, remember, the game's on 110. I can't put the game any harder than it already is. The only thing I think I can do is turn off flashbacks. And I have to be honest with you guys, I don't think I used one flashback in this entire race for the Austrian Grand Prix. I didn't. I honestly didn't. It is looking juicy. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. If you want to play a game, let me know in the comments down below where you think I'm going to go at the end of this season, if I indeed win the drivers or the constructors or both with Ferrari. Guys, please drop a like down below on the video. It's only going to take you a nifty 2 seconds. Check out the links in the description down below. Give the channel or this video a shout out, and I will give you a shout out on my personal social medias as well as here on YouTube. And finally, if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe down below. Don't forget to ding the bell to never miss a future episode. And guys, thank you so much for watching. You guys support me so well. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Cheers!